Hello and welcome to Positive Fandom, everyone. I am your host, RM. And this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are, we're going to be talking about the premiere of the Obi Wan Kenobi series, episodes 1 and 2 that just dropped tonight on Disney Plus. Now, I had the fortunate experience of watching episodes 1 and 2 of the Obi Wan Kenobi series at Star Wars Celebration this year, about 2 hours earlier before it was released on Disney Plus. I did talk about it on a non-spoiler review video that I made a little while ago. Um, and here's my co-host, Tom Jr. Jackson. Hey, Tom,
Yay,
how are you?
I am good.
Excellent. Thank you for joining so last minute. Of course, we knew we were going to be doing something like this, but it does kind of feel very last minute, and I always feel like I have to apologize, because I just didn't know what the time would be like, and
Well,
how.
I wasn't expecting it to come on at midnight. That's the thing. I was
Yeah,
expecting it to come on at 3 a.m. here.
yeah. I almost think that they had to do the midnight drop because they had made the time at Star Wars Celebration earlier because we had it at 7 and I was of course texting you all day about this anyway. Um hey and hello to Paul in Long Beach. Good evening to the both of you. Hello, Paul in Long Beach. I'm in
Good
Anaheim and
evening. To you too.
I'm sorry.
I said goof evening to you too, Paul.
Absolutely goof evening to you, Paul. We are all goof people, as you all know. Um, I think about you in Long Beach. I'm in Anaheim, so you're just down the road, Paul. And I hope you are well. And thank you for joining us for this live spoiler review. Oh, yeah, let me put down spoilers. So let me just put a banner at the bottom so that everybody knows that this is a spoiler. Let me just create a banner here. I don't want anybody to be disappointed because they were watching this and didn't know that this is a spoiler review of Kenobi. Let's see. Episodes 1 and 2. And 2. It's gonna ticker 1 second. I haven't finished typing this. But I just wanted to do that quickly. Scroll across
Yeah,
add banner.
I watched the celebration today as
Oh,
well.
really? And
Yeah,
how was it watching it streaming, Tom? What'd you think of it?
I loved watching it. I mean, it would have been great to be there, but watching it streaming, they really get that close up so you can see what they're saying, you can hear them well. I and I really liked the um, audience with the Emperor.
Yes, that was great, wasn't it?
It was, and then they dropped the Andor
Yes.
trailer, and then today they also dropped the Willow trailer.
Yes. And he
And
was
now
there.
that makes me really want to watch the original movie again. I haven't
He
seen that in forever.
Yeah, I'm for some reason I'm getting cramps in my arm. Um yeah, so much to talk about from today, Tom. And, it feels great to have these announcements coming out at a time where, maybe we don't always see the announcements or hadn't been seeing announcements just in time for, I feel that's going to start a fantastic summer season on TV. As well as for movies that are coming out. We certainly did see a lot. And we also found out that Mandalorian season 3 is going to be coming out in
February.
2023. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The
definitely.
cool thing is Andor is getting 12 episodes.
Yes, that's certainly a good amount of episodes, and I think that that's fantastic. I hope that's gonna be a trend that we see where we get to see even more episodes because they feel that they can invest more in a series, rather than just 6 or 8. So, and any extra episodes I really like. Paul in Long Beach says that Willow trailer looks incredible. I'm looking forward to that. It really does. They did such a great job on that, and it is going to be incredible. I have a feeling that we're going to be so surprised at how great Willow's going to be. Um, the star of the previous Willow series was there at Celebration as well on one of the panels. So that was great. I don't remember which one, but he was there.
Yeah. I can see his face. I know his name, but it's like on the tip of my tongue. But I know who you mean.
Yes.
The little guy.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name now.
Well, it was great to see him,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it
Um,
was.
And I think that that added a lot of flair to it as well. Good morning, Liam Lionheart. How are you? I hope you are well. I think I've watched a few of your streams on YouTube, and it is good to see you this morning. And I hope things are going great for you wherever you are. Yeah, Tom and I were just going over some of the amazing developments at Star Wars Celebration today, with all of the announcements and trailers. We got, movie announcements. We also found out about Mandalorian season 3, and
Yeah.
yeah, and of course, even the Indiana Jones, right, Tom?
Yes. It's June 2023, which will be the 39th anniversary of Temple of Doom.
Yes, and so even that has an announcement, and of course, Harrison Ford was there, as everyone said. I didn't see him, but from what I understand, he was there. I haven't watched anything where he was on, so I'm going by hearsay. I personally haven't watched it, but from what I understand, he was present, and would be another person that I had missed this morning. Certainly a lot of announcements for things that are clearly well into production or in post-production, so we don't necessarily have that concern about was it even made. Not in this one. Almost everything that we've been seeing is in either post or already ready to view, so to speak, um, ready to be aired, post production or ready to be aired. So that's fantastic news for us. And the other thing too is that they came out in such a balanced pace. Didn't feel like that overcrowding, billboard where you just write down everything you can possibly announce and fill it out. It was not that kind of an announcement. Yes, I do think we're going to get more announcements as the week progresses, but I don't feel overwhelmed by what we saw. We saw a lot of variety of things from the past, like getting a new Willow film or getting a new Indiana Jones film. Feels like
Well,
those.
Willow is not going to be a film, it's a series.
Right, right.
But the thing that I really enjoyed is they brought out Ashley Eckstein,
Yes.
who is the voice of
Ahsoka
Ahsoka.
Tano, yes,
And she,
in the Clone Wars and
right.
Rebels.
And they asked her, has she spoken to Rosario Dawson? She says, no, I haven't even met her yet. She goes, that's the dream. I'm putting it out there. I want to meet her. I want to be a guest on the Ahsoka show. She's very um, positive about it. It doesn't sound like there's any, um, ill will towards it or anything like that. She got very emotional talking about it and how much she um, loves the fandom and very much there for them. And she is one of the best that's out there. That she puts out so much positivity with what she does.
She really does. I mean, she makes sure that she's at all of these cons for us, so she's absolutely 100% accessible. She also does the audiobook, the Ahsoka book.
I have that. It's a
Yeah,
great audiobook.
it is fantastic, and it certainly has she certainly brought, Ahsoka to life for many of us, playing the role. I guess, I don't know, it was like 13 years. It's a long time to be a voice actor for a particular character, and so I think that, we most of us have, of course, we still associate, the Ahsoka character with Ashley, and from what I understand, Ashley had mentioned that she's interested in also doing some live action roles, which is not a surprise. I could see her easily fitting in
Hmm.
either the Star Wars universe or any universe she decides to audition for. Whoever gets Ashley Eckstein as an actress, as a live action actress in their production won't be disappointed in her abilities. So I do see her potential career going somewhere. And it would be very interesting to see that. I think once she does a few roles, they might start to offer her more to see if she can handle that type of a workload. And then I think the sky's the limit for Ashley going forward. So that's also good to see. She always has a panel called, I think it's called Mindful Matters
Yeah,
at
and she has that line, her universe, which she's
that.
got some great clothing that just came out. Like, excuse me, there's some new jackets, ones that are based on Star Wars, like some that's based on Padme's clothes, some that's based on Leia's clothing, some great jackets and stuff. Like she really loves Star Wars. Um, to bring it all to Obi-Wan, they brought out Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, and this is probably maybe 45 minutes before the end of the first day of celebration. And they were talking about, they were actually asking Hayden, what he thinks about Star Wars. And he said, oh, he watched all of Rebels, all of Clone Wars to pick up on what has come in between for Obi-Wan. So not Obi-Wan, Anakin, so he can get back into that frame of it. And he goes, I'm a fan now. I'm a huge fan now. And I'm a fan just like you all. Audience went crazy. And they asked him, what if you could describe this show in like 3 words, how would you describe it? And I think he said, the fun is just beginning, something like that. And they went nuts. But they're very positive about the show. The Obi-Wan show, and they have every right to be. I mean, it was just great to see all the positivity for that show, and they really built it up to where they said originally it was going to be a movie, and then they said maybe a TV show, and they finally went with TV show. So, it does. I'll tell you now, flat out, it has that movie feel to it.
Yeah, they certainly didn't spare any expense with the production of the Kenobi series, and I think that we knew that. Yes, as a OG fan, when Star Wars was just Star Wars. Hello to you again. This is where the fun begins. Is
Exactly.
one of his lines that he has said in the movies. We certainly do remember that charismatic comment that Hayden had said. And, we certainly do have a lot of fond memories and association with that as well. And, fortunately, I had the pleasure of seeing Hayden Christensen tonight. When I watched the Kenobi series at the premiere at Star Wars Celebration, he did walk right back by me and my mother, and we were just in awe. He's very tall and, just somewhat statuesque, in my opinion. And it was great to see him. He still looks amazing. Ewan McGregor was also there, Deborah Chow, and a number of other stars of the show, and the crew were also there as well. So that was great to see. And they watched the show with us. And I've never watched a show with Ewan McGregor before. So so that was kind of cool. I was like, this is great. I'm watching it with Ewan, and the
And
the crowd just went crazy.
the wonderful thing about this show is that all the episodes are directed by Deborah Chow. Every single one of them. So it's all that one linear vision of hers, rather than let's bring in another guy and this guy's maybe putting his vision into it, another one puts their vision into it. It's all her, and she's a fan just like everyone else. So I mean, they picked someone really good to direct it. She's done what, a bunch of Mandalorians, I believe.
She has. And hello, Mark Mitchell, to you. Hello, Art. I'm glad you and your family are enjoying it. Thank you. You're right. Deborah Chow was also there tonight, and she came out before the actors came out, and she talked about the production and how they've worked on this. And I think that what they've done is going to be perhaps the most cinematic television series they have so far. And I almost feel that that's the right direction to go in with Obi, so especially since, I feel that his story is, one of the foundational stories that is yet to be told in the series. And this snippet of his life, it's kind of funny because when the series started out, I think it's great that they showed tension between him and Ben. And I think many of us knew that there would be tension between the two of them. Ben is, he's kind of tolerating the situation and doesn't quite want there to be any tension or problems for Luke. And while, after everything that's happened, you know, he doesn't want Luke to even kind of be aware that there was all this issue. And so I can see how it'd be very easy for, I'm not saying there's any animosity or, yes, Warwick Davis, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much for that. We were trying to remember his name, and of course, it's Warwick Davis. He was also in, of course, Star Wars as well. So, was he an Ewok, Tom?
Yeah, he was an Ewok, and he was also in episode 9 at the very end when they show everybody celebrating again, and they
Yes.
went back to Endor, and when they show Wicket, who he plays, he showed him there with Wicked's son, and Wicked's son is played by Warwick Davis's son.
Yeah.
So it was a family affair. But the cool thing about Obi-Wan is it does start out with a great previously thing, like a great recap,
Yeah,
which
his
recaps
nightmare.
all three of the prequels in such a great way. And it gets you right back into, okay, this is where we were, this is where it is, here we go, boom, and it takes you right into it.
And you kind of needed to see that flashback from him, but they didn't go overboard. Yes, Harry Potter as well. They didn't go overboard with it, and I think it was just the right amount of flashback that we needed to see because we knew what had happened. And for him, even though from what we're seeing, the implication is that it was 10 years earlier, let's say, that all those things happened. It's still haunting him, and of course, it would haunt anybody to go through such a traumatic event, to see somebody that you cared about so much go through that level of pain and suffering. And I have, honestly, to say that they treated it with care. And it's obviously the same clips we've seen many times, but I think that what's interesting is that we getting Obi-Wan's perspective now. It's still bothering him, and of course it's going to bother him for many years to come. This was not a happy situation for him and a huge disappointment, and I think that he probably does feel like he failed and that there was this situation he has to deal with now, and his life is so different. um at this point. And we see this other what appears to be another Jedi who is in the process of uh being hunted by the Inquisitor. And there's been a lot of discussion about the Inquisitors, and honestly, Tom, I thought that all of the Inquisitors were amazing. The head Inquisitor, there's another one who has like a mechanical sounding deep voice that's so intimidating
I
as he.
think that's Benedict Wong.
Yes, that's right. Hello, Bloodsport One. Happy good night, late night. No, Mom, I'm streaming. Everything's okay. Love you.
Can you
No,
give me a moment? I need to blow my nose.
yes,
So I'm
go
gonna,
mute
yeah.
yourself, Tom. Go ahead and well, I can take you off. Yes, perfect. Yes, you are muted. Mom, I was just talking to Tom here about Star Wars, okay? All right. So go back to sleep. Love you. Oh, thank you so much, Paul in Long Beach. The gentleman's name is Sun Kang. Sun Kang, and I believe he was there tonight, Paul in Long Beach. Boy, he was incredible. The head inquisitor was incredible. And so was Moses Ingram as an inquisitor who's out of control, which is great to see that kind of character who is just on the edge. She's gotten a taste of the dark side and she wants to go, all or nothing here. I just watched both episodes and I love it both. Bloodsport One, I agree with you 100%. I need Reverend the third sister 1/6 scale. I agree. They're going to make that thing. Honestly, the way she moves, she's so graceful on camera. I just love how she moves in this series, and I think that she's amazing. This first episode also had a scenario where there was another Jedi, this poor fellow, who found himself pretty much at the, pretty much at the mercy of the third sister, and she chops off somebody's hand. I mean, it was just like, yeah, it got gnarly and brutal pretty quick. Later on in the episode, this young Jedi, I don't know how old the gentleman is, this other Jedi or Force user approaches Obi-Wan and says, "Hey, aren't we supposed to be protecting people? Isn't this what we're doing?" And then, of course, we saw that line where Obi says, "Don't you remember what happened? We lost." And of course, this Jedi is unaware that Obi is protecting Luke. And so, is Tom coming back? I sure hope so. He's completely unaware. I'm just going to take him out for a second until he comes back. He's completely unaware that, Obi-Wan is protecting Luke. Paul Lumpy says, "Was that Tamura Morrison asking for credit? Sounded like him." Now, that was very interesting. I thought it was him. I'm looking at the episode and I can't find the people who are in it, but it says casting characters in regards to Tamura. Let's see. Rupert Friend is the Grand Inquisitor. He was amazing. Here's Tom. Sorry. Rupert Friend was the Grand Rupert Friend. Hey, Tom.
Yeah, that was Tamara Morrison.
Rupert Friend is the Grand Inquisitor. Sun Kang was the fifth brother. And he was the one who had that deep voice, Tom, that I was trying to narrow down. Moses Ingram as Reva, the third sister. Benny Safdie as Nari, a Jedi living in Tatooine. He's the one who confronts Obi and says, "Hey, aren't we supposed to be doing something?" And of course, Joel Edgerton is Owen Lars.
And he had Owen's voice, the older Owen's voice. Leave him alone.
Yes, so good. Flea was a kidnapper in this. We also have Jimmy Smits. Why am I not seeing the name? Let me just pan down.
He was Bail or Tanga or Tager or Organa.
Yes. And the cast is certainly amazing. Amira Varma was there.
A girl who stole the show.
Yes, she was amazing too. And I knew it was going to be Tom. I think that we've talked about the series before, or it might have been when I was speaking to Catherine Cook as well. Bloodsport one says he was surprised it was Leia. I had said to either you or to Catherine Cook, I said, maybe in the series, Obi-Wan might have to take care of Leia. I said it on a stream. So I feel like I kind of predicted what was going to happen.
That was so surprising to see Leia. And you would say, oh, maybe they might see Bail Organa. But I wasn't expecting to see Leia. And this little girl had the Carrie Fisher mannerisms down, the snarkiness. She was great. And I think that whoever that little girl is, she's going to go far in her career. I mean, it was just too much. I would love to see a Leia show where they just show her growing up and stuff.
Yeah, I would love to see too. And guess what? She was there tonight at Star Wars Celebration watching the episode with us.
Nice.
Yeah. It was just surprise after surprise after surprise. The one person who I would have liked to have seen who wasn't there was Moses Ingram. I was surprised she wasn't there, but she might be on location somewhere filming a new movie.
Wait, she's the third sister?
Yes.
No, she was there earlier today.
Okay.
Then they interviewed her about playing the third sister, and I remember this because I was watching the stream. She said she's never seen any of the films, so she could go in blindly,
right,
and play this role because it's a character no one's ever seen before.
Exactly.
And now she's a fan as well. So, yeah, I did see that they released they're going to do the third sister hot toy as well.
Absolutely, and I think that she was so incredible as the third sister. I felt that the scenes that she was so graceful, Tom, in her role. And Bloodsport 1, you know what? I haven't looked at the figures yet because today was going to be all about the panels for me, which it was. So I absolutely am going to check those out tomorrow. When I
I saw Leo doing a little stream. He does a little what's up type thing, and he was showing all the Hot Toys and some of the sideshow stuff. And boy, oh boy, there is some great things. And I saw your Mando with Grogu that they have, where he's standing up and Grogu's down there next to him, and he's on that platform type thing. I was like, I know someone that has that.
I do. I own that figure. And I saw it at a con last year, and when as soon as I saw it, I had to order it. So I got it, but I'm not where the figure is, so I can't review it. But I can't
Yeah,
wait to look at that figure. They did such a good job with that figure as well. I loved Mando's outfit in that figure. I can't remember the name of what it's called, but I could actually um I will be looking at figures, if not tomorrow, the day after, um, when I get a chance. But I can't wait to get it. It's called, what is it called? It is called the Tamashi Nations, Ronin, um, Ronin, I guess Grogu and Mando. And
right.
it's
And
right,
one
Tom?
of yeah, I believe that was it. That's the one that
Yeah.
they had there. So yeah, one of the things that I saw that they have, because watching these streams, they'll cut in between things and show you what they have, like all kinds of different shirts. Like there's a hashtag shirt with one that says hashtag Grogu, hashtag Din, hashtag Razor Crest. They were showing when they were showing the Hot Toys. The guy who was showing them is he used to have a show on the Travel Channel where he would go around looking at toys. His name is Jordan Hembrow, the
Mhm.
toy collector, and not the Batman villain, but he's a toy collector, and he was showing all the Hot Toys. There's actual booth where you can go at to Celebration and take a picture with the Grogu Hot Toy, and they have a nice background behind you, and you can get your picture taken with it. So yeah, they got some really cool things going on there, and I'm kind of jealous. But then I went and looked up the Rhode Island Comic Con, where close to where I live. It's up in Rhode Island, and they got a lot of people from The Mandalorian that are going to be there
It's
um,
exciting.
in November.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello, Kim A. Egan. It's very nice to see you tonight. And thanks for stopping in. And Bloodsport One says, yes, he also saw the Moses Ingram interview as well. And Bloodsport One says, Jordan Hembrock Toy Collector Show on the Travel Network channel. And we will
yeah.
talk about that, not tonight's show, but we will talk more about all of the toys and figures and everything coming up. Um, uh,
So
sure.
what did you think of Obi Wan working a job, just a job like everyone else, trying to stay out of trouble?
He
And it
has
looked like he was
that.
cutting. I know, but and I was thinking about that watching it. I'm like, that's right, because he's hiding out. What's he gonna do for money? And then I realized, and then they show that, and this is a great show where you've always wondered, well, what did Obi Wan do before they met up with him and stuff? And then in between episode 3 and episode 4, what was he doing? And I think it was brilliantly done, and really I love that they went up to space where everybody's been like, when are we going to see space? You saw space, lots of it. I
Yeah,
was surprised to
um,
see Flea on the show as well.
he was great, on the show. Hello, Lonely Banter, it's good to see you, howdy to you. And Kamei Egan says, "I'm just joining the chat. I was at my bowling party." Well, I hope your bowling party was great tonight. Thank you for coming in. We've got a spoiler review of Kenobi episode 1 and 2. Yeah, it was a little hard seeing Kenobi with this job. And it says that he lifted meat for his space camel. Yeah, I did notice he took a little slice away for that, which was very interesting as well. But it seemed like a very meager, sad, kind of existence. And we learned very early on that um, Obi feels very detached from his Jedi days.
You know what? I can say this. It sort of reminded me of seeing Luke in the sequel trilogy, where he was very much by himself, didn't want anybody to know that he was a Jedi. He's like, I'm not a Jedi anymore. And then you see Obi Wan kind of doing the same thing, you know? Um, and I sort of noticed that parallel, and I thought that's pretty cool. That's that's an interesting parallel to do. So really, when people go, "Oh, Luke would never do that," and then you see Obi-Wan doing it, you go, "Oh, you keep your nose down and just don't let anybody know where you are because people are after you." Um, yeah. So I liked that. I liked seeing Owen again, and then seeing little Luke, running off and sitting on the side of the house and pretending to ride the pod racer, and you just see Luke, not Luke, Obi-Wan watching Luke going, he's got his father in him. And you know that's what he's thinking, by the way he's doing the pod racing thing there. But seeing little Leia, and he goes to her, you remind me of someone I once knew. And when he said it was a leader, in almost a way, I think that is what maybe set her on the path of becoming a princess, becoming in the Senate. Maybe that may have sparked something in her. You know what I mean? And maybe he may have set her on that right path where she didn't want to be a senator, which surprised me. But then again, she's a child. And what child's going to say, I want to be a senator? You know?
Yeah, it's a good point. And, of course, what's what's even more interesting about this is quite a bit of the plot revolves around Leia and what happens to her. She's a bit of a rebel, and she's brought up, of course, on Alderaan in the lap of luxury. And seeing Jimmy Smits, who was also there tonight with the crew, was amazing. Um, I think that they did such a beautiful job in showing their family and how happy they were together. And so, seeing this crisis at this moment um, is probably realistic that this happened because she is a princess. And for a princess who likes to kind of go off on her own and explore just like any other healthy child, it's not an unusual characteristic. But to find out that the main motivation for her kidnapping was actually, let's say, the third sister's ambitions in in I guess for the empire, for her role in the empire, was very interesting because I would have never guessed that people could determine what their future was going to be in the empire, because we see, it's almost as if we've seen so much with Maul thinking that he was going to be promised this life to be number 2 or the number 1 to Palps, only for that to kind of, not work out for him, right? Um
Right,
and
right. And I would call it more an obsession that she has with Obi-Wan. Really. It's like this obsession, and they're like, you need to back off. She's like, but I can get him. No, you need to back off.
and he's very ominous. The Grand Inquisitor is very ominous. That's why I was so shocked. And of course, this is a spoiler review, to see her kill him, and he was not expecting it. And it was so damn good. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I was really happy with that scene, but Paul in Long Beach makes a point about at least we're off Tatooine. We actually see quite a few locations with Alderaan, and then on the ship where Leia is captured, and then I can't remember what planet they're on there, which
Yeah,
is
I
another.
can't remember the name of that planet either. But and it was great to see Kumar Najili, I think his name is. He was in Eternals, and he was playing a
A flavor.
hello,
Yeah,
Mikey Lito. He was
con man.
playing a Jedi.
Yeah, he's the con man, and he was perfect. He was like, "I am a Jedi, and I can help you." And I'm thinking to myself, "Yeah, there must have been at least one person who did that sort of nonsense." Hey, Mikey Lito, how are you today? It's always good to see you on any day. Good morning to
Dayu.
Arun and Tom. What a surprise to see you both on the air. Well, Mikey Lito, we're reviewing season one, episode 1 and episode 2 of the Kenobi series. This is going to be a short review. Normally we go 2 hours, right, Tom? And then we might go another 2
Yes.
hours.
Well, sometimes two. Yeah, we do 2 hours, and then later on in the day we do another 2 hours or something like that. We have the day to let the episode sink in. But knowing that you were at Celebration, we'll probably do this because I know you'd be exhausted by tonight to do another one. But if you wanted to, we could. It's always up to you. But I'll tell you this: for those of you who don't know, they've already put up the 2 Obi Wan episodes early tonight, and I was thinking about why they did that. Well, A, it's probably after the screening, and B, because at 3 a.m. mid Eastern midnight California time, they're dropping uh, season 4, part 1 of Stranger Things. So
Yes.
maybe they didn't want to compete with that, you
Yeah,
know?
probably. And also, I think you make a good point. Paul in Long Beach says Alderaan looks great, and it's Dayu is the other planet. Thank you, Paul in Long Beach. Kamei, this is a spoiler review. So don't watch this if you don't want to know what happens, Kamei Egan, who says, I can't wait to watch this tonight, technically this morning. This is a spoiler review. I just want to make you know. A,
There's a bar at the bottom of the screen that's saying spoiler reviews, people.
yes, but he might be listening to it. Sometimes
Oh, that's true. That's
sometimes people
true.
are in their car or doing something like that. So sometimes I like to just verbally say it. And also sometimes some of this stuff gets turned into pods, like a podcast or whatever. So
You're right.
that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Um, so Kamei, just be aware. Um, and Paul in Long Beach says, cheers to you. Mikey Lito says, I really enjoyed this one much better than the other Tatooine series. Yes, that I'm glad to hear that. And everybody's saying hello to you, Mikey, of course. And of course, guys, Mikey Lito has his own channel as well. So please do check out Mikey Lito's channel, everybody. And I'm wondering, I remember we've been seeing quite a few different planets recently, and even space stations. Jack Lumen, hello, Jack Lumen says, I'm not worried about any spoilers at all. Well, one thing I think is very interesting, Kame says, oh, but I love chatting with you guys, R and Tom. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
One thing that a lot of people were worried about is who was going to be the focus of the series, and it's clearly Obi-Wan. He's running the show.
It's a shock. A show called Obi Wan, who's I would have thought it would have been someone else.
Well, he certainly does have that movie magic presence in this, Tom. I can't take my eyes off of Obi-Wan, even when he's trying to pull over his hood and keep himself quiet. I can't stop looking at him. He really has retained that movie magic, and he is infectious. Cheers to Ewan McGregor for giving a command performance, even at the worst situations. Mike Alito says, I like the way they got Ben off Tatooine, and that third sister, what a badass. She is a badass. And honestly, she moves so gracefully and so carefully. Um, I really like what they've done with her character. I love her command of saying, "Screw this. If this guy thinks I'm not good enough and he stands in my way, I don't need to have him in my way anymore." Very Sith-like way to behave. Actually, it seems like it's Leia. It is Leia who's in this series, Paul in Long Beach. I hope we didn't confuse one or the two there. And he says she was funny. I'm assuming I don't know which character, whether you're talking about Leia or the Grand Inquisitor, excuse me, the third sister. It might be the third sister. The third sister did have kind of a snarky sense of humor too, but I don't think she appreciated anybody telling her that she didn't matter and all that sort of stuff. It's not really true what the guy's saying. She might be a very talented force user, and he doesn't want to give her any credit for anything because that's how, like the school of hard knocks, so to speak. But Jack Lumen says, waiting for anything to come off of Disney. I'm just not interested in subscribing. A lot of people feel that way. And Michael Lido, just like what you said, Tom, says Leia was funny.
Well, Cammy, go enjoy Obi-Wan. Thank you for stopping by. We love you too, and can't wait to see you come back and watch us again. Yeah, I had to say the last 10 minutes of episode 2, episode Obi-Wan episode 2, I should say, were awesome to the realization of when Obi-Wan finds out that Anakin is alive and the look on his face, like, what? And you could tell he was in shock. But the best shot of all was when he goes, Anakin. And you see Anakin in the tank. And oh, we're off to the races now. And that, oh, seeing him in that tank was something else. Harkens back to Rogue One.
And Anakin looked terrible, like he was alive, but you knew that he was suffering. And I think this is a very interesting look at it. It really was terrifying to see Anakin all bruised and beat up and half in pieces. And since it was the third sister that kind of told him in this somewhat undelicate manner, knowing what's happened between the two of them, I think that she definitely struck a nerve in Obi-Wan and knew that this would strike a nerve in him. Bloodsport one says Kenobi's expression was priceless. Darth Vader. Kame says Rogue One was fantastic. And Mike Alito says it was good use of a high profile guest stars without being stunt casting. I like both of you. Liked Ewan McGregor's performance. I agree. We saw breakout performances tonight. We saw traditional performances tonight. Jimmy Smits is always a crowd pleaser. That man, seeing him on screen as Senator Organa, everybody just loves him as that character. And the woman who plays his wife was also wonderful. I don't know her name. But it was just wonderful to see that. Was there anything else that stood out to you, Tom? We have about 15 minutes left. This is going fast. TK,
that was actually the. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. TK592 says it'll be interesting to see if they go over Vader / Anakin's feeling towards Obi-Wan is out there. They know Yoda and Obi are out there. Maybe they don't consider them enough of a threat. Well, what were you going to say, Tom?
I was going to say this is the first time we've seen Senator Organa's wife a bit more in the Star Wars universe. But I think to answer TK592, to answer his little message there, I would say when you see Anakin in the tank and he opens his eyes and he realizes that Obi-Wan now knows that he is still out, that he's alive, and that Anakin knows that Obi Wan is alive. Now it's a game now of will I see when will I see you again, and I'm going to take you down, which means that that scene in episode 4 where Obi-Wan goes, I haven't had a feeling since like this since, and he trails off. I have a feeling this is what he's talking about. That scene, not that scene in particular, but maybe it could have been that scene where he realizes that Obi-Wan's still alive. The Yoda thing, I don't know. I don't know if they know that Yoda, because for all you know, Yoda, for all they know, Yoda could be dead. Someone could have gotten them. He could have crashed somewhere. They don't know. They don't know he's alive.
Yeah, I imagine Yoda's on Dagobah, and
Yep.
supposedly Dagobah is a great place for someone who's such a strong Force user to hide out on. Something to think about. Yes, and Bloodsport One says, "I like the discussion over Luke being a farm boy and not a Jedi." Yes. I got to watch A New Hope later today than Empires. Definitely. This makes you want to go back and rewatch stuff and put this into
Hmm.
context at this time for sure. And, we are seeing the Empire, we knew they were doing this, but we are seeing the Empire slowly take over planets and enslave people. Um, yeah, and TK592 says, "Yeah, that's true. Maybe they assumed them to be dead. The galaxy is a big place after all." Good.
Yeah. And don't forget, guys, please hit the like button
Yeah.
and give us some likes, and it just it gets us out there, and so that we're seen. In case anybody's interested in spoilers on the show. But I have to
Absolutely.
say, they executed this show so well, and people were nervous. Oh, is it going to be another Book of Boba Fett? Is it going to end up like Book of Boba Fett? And out of the gate, they did a spectacular job with the show. It's fantastic. It has an epic feel to it. It's more or less what you want to see. You want to, and you want to see, or how does Obi-Wan get from here to there? How does end up there? And they could probably do a few years of the show till they want to morph Ewan into Alec Guinness. They could probably do that. But since they say Leia is 10, that means Luke is 10. So they got about 9 years to go till episode 4. Because
Exactly.
it's 10 years after episode 3.
Yes, and TK592 says, "Seeing Vader in the tank was exciting. Hope we get to see the castle once again." Mike Alito says, "I'm curious what you both think was the point of the Order 66 opening scene, since they had already recapped the prequel trilogy." I thought it was gonna um I wasn't quite sure who these kids who said that they had to run away were. Maybe it's a bunch of young Jedi who also survived, and maybe they're the ones who saved Baby Yoda.
That could be it. But it when showing that scene and then seeing that they found that Jedi on Tatooine that wasn't Obi-Wan, it makes me wonder if those kids somehow got away, or if one of them got away and he was one of those kids.
Definitely.
Um,
It
yeah,
totally
and
makes sense.
that's a heartbreaking scene. It really is. I mean, when they were showing all those kids running away, I'm like, oh God, then they're not going to show the Anakin scene again of him coming in and slaughtering the younglings again, because I can only see that once. I don't want to see that again. But I think they did a perfect job of recapping it in such a way that it perfectly sums up 1, 2, and 3, leads you into the show, and then seeing those kids, I'm betting that is exactly what it was.
So, Bloodsport One says, "Epic feel indeed. I love the opening of the episodes. Wait till we see Vader." And John Ware Jr. Hello, John Ware Jr. Thank you so much for stopping by. The actress who plays Leia doesn't feel 10 years old, and he's saying that the scene is actually about Riva, who clearly gets taken by the Empire. Perhaps that's
And
very,
that's
very
right.
clever.
because that's what Obi Wan said, that the Inquisitors are former Jedi who gone to the dark side and they hunt their own.
Yes, and Mikey Lito says, "Frankly, I'm thinking Disney is scheduling this much better than Netflix is scheduling Stranger Things." And Bloodsport says, Youngings. It was Reva's backstory," says John Ware Jr. And Mikey Lito, just I agree. I hadn't thought about that. Um, and then, of course, the veteran we're talking about, Tom Jr. Jackson. I can't speak now because I'm exhausted. Is of course one of the clone troopers. Uh,
Yeah, I think that may have been, no, that could have been Rex, but then again, I remember Rex was going bald, so he must have been one of those clone troopers. Which, if you look at it, that's one of the first times in um, live action that you've seen one with the helmet off.
yeah, and he was using it as a bucket, right? Like a collection bucket,
Yeah.
which was very interesting. I just wanted to see if I refresh this page whether there was more information on it, but I don't think there is. Yeah, that was fantastic what they did. And Paul and Long, did I read that? How dare they interrupt a Tai Chi lesson?
Mhm.
Well, honestly, I can't boast enough about these 2 episodes. I think if since this is an introduction of what these OB series is gonna be, we're in for such a treat. The escape scenes with Leia was fantastic. And we also saw the guy who was a con man pretending to be a Jedi kind of defended them a little bit. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but
Yes, he is, because she hit him. He was like, ow, and she just went off. She cared more about getting Obi-Wan than she did about some con man.
exactly. And however, of course, at the end, because Reva decides to kill the Grand Inquisitor, excuse me, I think it's very interesting that that's what distracted her away from her goal. And of course, they always say, focus on the goal ahead. Don't let anything get in the way of that. And that was maybe a lesson that she hasn't learned, or perhaps mistakes that she makes repeatedly. Bloodsport One says, "My only problem is why Kenobi didn't use the Force to capture Leia. Get over here, Leia. Get over here." She did run. And Mike Alito says, "And the next episode comes quickly on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. God help me." Um,
You know
and
what? He did that because he was really trying not to call attention to himself. He was trying to get off the planet without now knowing that they were after him. So he didn't want to acquire any more attention that he's doing than trying to get Leia, which, which was funny. Oh, you're one of them. You're after me. That's why you want me.
Yeah, she misjudged him a little bit in the beginning, and I think, of course, after, on the rooftop scene, Bloodsport 1, as you mentioned, and he does save her, and of course, he exposes himself once he uses the Force, something that I'm guessing, and Tom, you probably agree, that he probably hasn't used it in so long. He had to dig out his lightsaber from the desert, for heaven's sake. So, I thought that was very interesting. And also, it was interesting how he was reluctant to go after Leia. I guess maybe he didn't realize or felt that she was safe on her planet. But as a princess, I think it's interesting. Someone's always going to want to harm her, unfortunately. And John Ware Jr. says, for a moment, I thought Obi-Wan was going to parallel Luke in The Last Jedi. Also, the actress who plays Reva is somewhat of the weak point of the show. She feels out of place. Well, she might be the person who causes her own destruction if she continues to make mistakes like what she did. She should have had Obi-Wan there. That should have been pretty much a done deal. She needed the Grand Inquisitor's help with Obi-Wan. But she kind of misstepped there, and she could have killed him right afterwards.
Yeah, but he to answer the question, why didn't he use the Force? Because he was also, why he was struggling with it is because he had shut the Force off, just like Luke did in the sequel trilogy, where he didn't want to use the Force because he knew that somewhere out there, someone who was Force sensitive could have picked up on it, and
Definitely.
that's why he kept it, off, and that's why Obi-Wan did that. So I find those parallels, like I said, very interesting that they did that. But it just goes to show that Luke really did learn from the little time he knew Obi-Wan things, and I guess he may have been communing with Obi-Wan and maybe off when we didn't see the show, see him in the movies, in between those years, in between when you see episode 5 and 6, maybe Obi-Wan said, well, at one point I shut the Force off so no one could find me. And maybe Luke had that in his head, and that's why he did what he did. So it's interesting. It's interesting how they do that stuff. But
Definitely.
yeah, I have to say that Lucasfilm and Disney has done a perfect job at this. I mean, but then again, this is only the first 2 episodes, and if everything else is as good as the first 2 episodes, we're in for a real treat.
Definitely. And uh-oh, what's wrong? Hold on one second. Hold on, my mother's.
Go for it. Yeah. Well, Bloodsport 1, Reva is very much obsessed with Obi-Wan for some reason, and that's why she went after Leia. She found in the archives that he had a bond with Senator Organa and said, well, if we take the child, he'll come after her. But not knowing who the child really is.
Yeah, and I think that was part of an error on her part because she did it secretly. And had she
Mm-hmm.
included the Grand Inquisitor, Obi-Wan would have been caught. He would never let or allowed Obi-Wan to get away. He knows that Obi-Wan has all that experience and is a trained Jedi. He would never make the same mistakes that Reva made. However, Reva is still very impressive. And of course, Bloodsport 1 says, uh, he says that she's hard-headed and stubborn like Kyle. And good point, Tom. I forgot about the force sensitive part. Good point. And Mikey Lito says, I'm more into this than Moonlight. I agree. We only have a few minutes left, guys. She's out to impress Vader. And you guys know very well that you cannot impress Darth Vader.
Right.
But she,
But just in case you all know, there is on Disney Plus another Marvel assembled of this one is the making of Moon Knight. I started watching it today. You'll find out more about why they did and what they did if you watch it, and you'll be like, oh, now I get it.
that's good
So,
to know. And I'm going to wrap this show up because I don't want to go over an hour. I'm forcing myself to keep my eyeballs open.
well,
Um,
I appreciate you letting me come on and talk about this with
of
you,
course,
and I know how
I want to talk about
exhausted you are. You
I wanted
know,
to do this with you, Tom. I wasn't going to let anything stop this. And of course, you knew I was coming out here for this. But it wouldn't be the same without being able to talk about it. And we can continue to talk about it more in depth. TK592 says, if she knows Vader was Anakin, then she knows Obi's connection. Absolutely. She knows it all. I think that everybody, it's kind of the dirty little secret, isn't it? Yeah, thank you, Michaelito. I am enjoying Callie. Guys, I wish there were more minutes in the day. Tom, why aren't there more minutes in the day?
I don't know. I think it's something called time. It confuses me, but apparently that's how we live.
Guys, I agree with Tom 100%. This is the best TV series I've seen so far. I liked it better than The Mandalorian. So, and I love that series. I think that we all enjoyed it. There are some people who may not be right for them. That's okay. But I think that we're going to see overwhelmingly the people will love it. I love the direction it's going in. Everybody looks great. I think it's absolutely amazing. Yes, I am going to the San Diego Comic-Con Bloodsport one. Tom, any final thoughts and where can people find you?
Okay, you can find me on Twitter at Tom Jr. Jackson. I know that's a stretch. I know that's hard to remember, but that's who I am. You can find me on YouTube. Right now, I only have one review, and that's for Doctor Strange. Look up Tom Jr. Jackson. You'll find me there. In a few weeks, I'll be moving. I'll be getting into a new place with better internet. And once I do that, folks, I'm going to start doing some more things on my channel, but I will still be doing the great work I do here with the lovely RM.
Oh,
And where
thank
can we find you?
Of course, you guys can find me here on the channel, Positive Fandom on YouTube as well as on Twitch. And of course, when things get back to normal on Monday nights, you can find me streaming on Toxic Femininity with Lorena Creole and Nina Infinity. On Tuesdays, and Wednesdays and Thursdays, sometimes you can find me on the 1/6 Scale Network on Say What or Uncivilized Scoundrels. And you can also find me streaming with Lorena Creole on our show Toxic Male Appreciation on Thursdays. Fridays in the morning, you can usually find me. I'm not going to be on there tomorrow, but on Fridays, you can usually find me streaming on Midnight's Edge at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Tom Connors and Andre. And Friday nights or Saturday nights, I'd like to stream with Robert, but I don't know if that's happening this weekend, guys. It didn't happen last weekend. So let's see
Well,
what
it didn't
happens.
happen last weekend because the man had a certain virus that shall be nameless, but he's doing better. He was just on Campia today. So knock on wood, everything's going good with him. And if it doesn't happen, there's always next time that you'll be able to do something with him. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
So I'm
always
I'm
join
guessing.
us.
Yeah, absolutely. With Celebration, I'm not that confident that we're going to be able to have time to do anything. So let's
Will
see.
there be a brunch this weekend?
Yes, there will be a Sunday brunch on Sunday. It may not be the 2-hour Sunday brunch. It might
Okay.
be a shortened version. Like this show would probably be 2 hours long because we'd be talking about
Right.
everything. But I am so excited for this, Tom. I can't wait to review the other episodes with you. Mikey Lito says he's going to try and get some sleep because he's going to go see Top Gun in the morning. Awesome, Mikey Lito. And to everybody out there, and remember, we are all goof people. And Tom, thank you for your help as always. Couldn't have done this without you. I don't think I could have gone an hour more without someone here with
And
me.
don't forget, hit the like and also subscribe if you're watching for the first time. Hit subscribe, hit that little bell, ring it, and you'll know whenever we go live. And again, thank you very much. And I can't wait for when The Mandalorian comes out and we get to do our Mandalorian
Yes.
reviews as well. I'm excited about that. We're
It's
in a
gonna
good time now. We're getting some good stuff.
We are finally getting some high quality work. Guys, this is an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. Best wishes to everybody out there, and to you, Mikey Lito. And remember, to everybody out there, wherever you are in the galaxy, always remember to please be kind. Take care, everybody.